Okay, so how to calculate your market share. Find the number of new listings last month for your city, the city or cities that you service. Take that number and find the number of shoots that you did in that city. Then you divide those two and you get a percent. So that percent is the market share that you own. That's what you're shooting for. So just easy math. If your city had 1,000 total listings, new listings in February, and you shot 100 of them, you have a 10% market share. So the same thing's going to happen if listings go down to 500. You should track if you still have 10%. So did you shoot 50 listings? If listings go up to 3,000.
Welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software platform designed to help you manage your real estate media business and really scale it and grow it. It's an extremely flexible platform. So that's what Spiro is all about. I'm your host of the Spiro Podcast, Craig Magrum, also business development specialist for Wow Video Tours, and a personal little note, I'm a ham radio operator as well. So there you go, a little bit about myself. And then back with us on the episode this week, our founder, our owner, and fantasy football enthusiast, Todd Kivimaki.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. Yes, I sure am the huge fantasy football fan. Yeah, that's a complete joke. I know you can't tell I'm joking right now, but I was actually kicked out of a league with my good buddies because I was just on auto draft and I would never sub anyone in that had a bye or that was injured. So they actually kicked me out because I didn't take it seriously enough.
Seriously.
So yeah, then I got in the league with the small group we have at church. So, and they didn't kick me out. So it was kind of nice to be accepted for my flaws of fantasy football.
I never knew that about you, Todd. Anyway, I could get into ham radio, but I'm not going to bore our viewers or listeners with that. It's really nerdy, but it's really fun. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to let you kind of take things over from here. I've just already derailed us for the episode.
Hey, you are good, Craig. Thank you all for listening and tuning in today. It's good to be back. You guys had a nice episode with Craig and Derek last week, and diving into some of those numbers. You know, the numbers and the metrics really tell the story. Thank you for jumping back on with us again this week. We're happy to bring some new content to you today. We're going to look at numbers, but a little bit from a different standpoint, not so much from an accounting standpoint, but just from a theory and a sales standpoint. So thanks for coming back. We hope you grab something that is useful to you. Reach out to us. Send me an email, hello@spiro.media. If you'd like to see the software, shoot me an email. You can sign up at spiro.media. There's some information on there as well. We've got some new exciting releases coming out. We have our tasks that are launched and out, working on a Vimeo integration and also a MergeFleet integration, which that probably doesn't mean anything to you. But just to fill you in, the MergeFleet is actually the algorithm that we wrote for Wow, our real estate media company that shoots over 12,000 jobs a year. 80% of those are video, and we actually don't use human editors. We use this MergeFleet, and it is now integrated, or I'm testing it inside of Spiro. So more to come. Very excited about what's yet to come, but thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely. If you have a topic that you're curious about on the business side of real estate media, again, drop us an email, hello@spiro.media. All right. So Todd, this episode, you said we're going to be diving into some different types of numbers, and it's proving to be really an interesting first quarter of 2023, at least in our neck of the woods in the markets that we're in. So can you talk a little bit about the state of the real estate industry that we're in terms of those numbers and what you're seeing from Wow Video Tours' point of view?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So to give all you listeners just an idea, so Wow Video Tours covers most of Ohio, some of Indiana, southern Michigan, the north side of northern Kentucky area, and then we're in Charlotte, North Carolina. So those markets range from Charlotte, North Carolina, and Columbus being our largest to, I'm in the middle of a cornfield in Northwest Ohio, so a much smaller market. And this even connects to other smaller markets like a Van Wert and markets of that size. So I think we're seeing a good segmentation of the market. Now, we don't have a huge metropolitan area to pull metrics from, like a Chicago, an LA, a New York, Miami, things like that. Talk to some of those people. We've been talking, but we have seen that listings are still down. This part of the time, this time of the year for a lot of the U.S. is cold or cooler, and that is a time where people are coming out of the holidays. They're coming out of being used to extremely low interest rates. And there's some uncertainty as to what's going to happen in 2023. So we have seen numbers trending down about 15% and at WOW. And I think it's going to continue to do that for a little bit longer. 3 to 6 months pending the location you're in. I do think, though, in the back half of the year, that we will see signs of growth. And I actually think that we will catch up to what we've missed out in the front half of the year.
Really? What on what basis?
Yeah, an interesting stat, Craig. So we looked at February numbers for WOW, and we had 53 new clients between all of our markets. Okay. So 53 new clients to WOW that have never used us before. Now, we're going to get into this a little bit later in the podcast, but we as WOW and we as our business development team, so that's our sales team, has been working extremely hard at meeting, at setting appointments, building relationships, taking in lunches, to lunch and learns, or taking in breakfast to a Tuesday morning meeting. They have been working extremely hard at just building relationships. And I think we're beginning to see some of that come through. The difficult thing is, and you all have probably experienced this, and send me an email with your experience, but you talk to a realtor, and just because you talk to a realtor, that realtor might absolutely love you and want to use your services, but they don't have a listing right now.
Right, exactly.
And quite honestly, they might not have a listing for 3 or 6 months pending the size of the realtor that they are. That, just to be transparent, is a little tricky for us to track because you're trying to find attribution. Attribution being, what does this sales cycle as you run people through the funnel, when do they convert? So when do they buy from you? If you talk to someone 6 months ago and they finally buy from you 6 months later, that is a very long period. And so that makes the sales a little bit tricky. Yeah. Now, Craig, you've been so you're in our northern markets and you have been building these relationships. What are you seeing on your end? Because I think you have some great insight for our listeners.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to reflect exactly what you just said, that listings are down. I was speaking with one of my clients that she's been in real estate, I believe it's for 22 or 23 years. And she said, Craig, I've never seen this low of inventory and this tight of a situation. And she has no listings right now. Now, this is a realtor who has plenty of experience, well ingrained in the community, has tons of contacts and networking. Not somebody that is just slouching off and not taking her career seriously. So to hear her say, yeah, things are tight right now, they're very, very challenging. Despite the relationship, she said, Craig, we're going to continue to use WOW Video Tours for sure. Because I checked up on her. We hadn't heard from her in a while. And you always want to follow up with clients, let them know that they're appreciated and you don't take their business for granted. But just the realities of the situation is she just doesn't have any listings. And that's not the only one I've heard that from. Again, people that are verbally saying, yeah, we're still committed to using you. It's nothing with you guys. It's just, there's nothing out there.
Yeah. And that is, I think we're seeing that. Let us know. Send me an email, hello@spiro.media. What does your market look like? Let me know your market and let me know what you're seeing. I'll compile a list and we'll share it next week on the podcast of what we get. But let me know what you're seeing. I'm sure there's some pockets out there where it's actually the complete opposite. I'm sure we see a little bit of everything across the U.S., but that is very interesting to see what's going to come. So now the question is, so what can I do? So listings are down. Okay, that is something that is out of your control. You can't control it, so there's no reason to focus on it. We can check the newest report. By the way, if you're looking for these reports, search your local MLS, and they have these numbers. They're typically 1 to 2 months behind, but you can go to the MLS website and you can grab these numbers. I think virtually every MLS gives some sort of information, and it's public, as to the number of new listings, the number of expired, and all those different categories. But you can find that on the MLS website. Okay, so you know what it is. We can't do anything about it. We wish we could. We can't change it. So what are we going to do on focus? What are we going to do to focus on? Well, one thing that we focus on at WOW is we look at market share. And what market share is it's the percent of the market that you shoot for. So for example, or what this gauges and what this tells you is if the market's down, are you still shooting the same percent of jobs as when the market's up? Yes, your number of jobs is down because listings are down.
Right.
So listings are potential shoots for you, but are you still capturing the same percent? Or are you growing in percentages? So that's a very interesting stat that we look at. And that's kind of a good gauge for us, is to see if we're growing. I mentioned that we shot for 52 new clients last month in February, and that's a short month. So I was thrilled with that number. So that means that we grew 52 new clients. Now, one interesting thing that Craig said is, how many clients are we not shooting for anymore? We keep contact with a lot of them, but we can't talk to all of them. If you can talk to all your clients, I would continue to talk to all of them. So you're going to have some new clients in, but you're going to have some clients go out the back door too. Maybe they go to a competitor, maybe they go to their cell phone. So those are just some things too, another variable that's difficult to track. But if you okay, so how to calculate your market share? I'll stay on track. Sorry, Craig. Sorry, listeners. Find the number of new listings last month for your city, the city or cities that you service. Take that number and find the number of shoots that you did in that city. Then you divide those two and you get a percent. So that percent is the market share that you own. That's what you're shooting for. So just easy math. If your city had 1,000 total listings, new listings in February, and you shot 100 of them, you have a 10% market share. So the same thing's going to happen if listings go down to 500. You should track if you still have 10%. So did you shoot 50 listings? If listings go up to 3,000, you should shoot 300 of those if you have the same market share. So that is a number that stays consistent when the listings fluctuate. Again, remember, listings are out of your control. Market share is in your control.
Yeah. And there's various ways to try and grow that market share. So you said looking at the back half of the year, it's actually, you see some trends that are looking good for WOW Video Tours. Is it because of that market share number for us is starting to creep up a little bit?
So yeah, that does help. It's still early with some of that data.
Okay.
A lot of that is I've been talking to a lot of brokers, managers, just what they think. A lot of them think that it's going to be very slow. Again, remember, we have interest rates that were astronomically higher than what they used to be. Now, remember, interest rates still historically are not that bad. They're actually at they're a healthy level. You can't loan money for 2%. It's not sustainable. It doesn't make sense in the overall scheme of economics. So 7-8% is historically an average. Now, that doesn't help though, because everybody's used to getting free money at basically 2%.
Right.
I think I refinanced my house on a 15-year loan. I got like 2.25. I was like, darn it, I wish I would have gotten 2.
Greedy, greedy there.
Yeah, and that was a 15-year loan. I could have gotten lower with a 30-year, but I'm not paying all the interest. So it's a mindset shift. Everybody who's in a house who's at 2.5 or 3.5% is like, yeah, this house really isn't that bad. I'm not paying 8%. They're like, right. I really don't mind that the kids share a bedroom.
Yeah.
So we have to get over that. That's the first thing, Craig. The second thing is a lot of data that I've heard, and these are people that, Keller Williams, for example, Gary Keller, they just had their kickoff a couple of weeks ago. Talked to one of the managers at a Keller Williams, seeing the same thing. Talked to an owner that owns Coldwell Banker that has 600 agents, seeing the same thing, thinking we're going to trend in the same way. There's some uncertainty with the market. Everybody's like, what's inflation? What is going on with everything in the news? What's going on with interest rates? What's going on? There's still a war in the world going on. So there's just a lot of uncertainty that I think needs to be ironed out and will start to flush itself out. And people still want to move though. Just remember the number one driver of the economy is the housing market. So you still have people that, and that's always going to run that way. So people do want to move. People get tired of where they're at. People need a different home. We just have to get some of these factors out of the way for listings to come back.
Okay, so let's talk, since market share in this kind of market share is what we're really aiming for to grow our businesses, even if listings are down. Let's talk about some of the ways that we can increase our market share as real estate media companies.
Great. Yes. So first thing is you can get more clients.
Yep.
So clients that have never used you before, if they use you, you are increasing your market share.
Right. No brainer there.
No brainer. So how do I get new clients? Okay. We already, number one, build good relationships. Just get to know them, show them that you care. That's one thing, Craig, that you said, show them that you care.
Yeah.
When people call in and they place an order, we celebrate with them.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats. That's all. I just took an order the other day. It was a $395. Wow. That's all. $395. Congrats. That's a great listing.
Yep.
Because those are hard to get. So celebrate with your clients. Show them that you care.
Can I give an example?
Yeah, go ahead, Craig.
Here's another way of celebrating. So I just took an inbound phone call just 2 days ago. A new realtor in a brokerage in one of our markets that said, yeah, our broker said that we have a special program with you. And so this is my very first listing. I'm like, fantastic. Thank you for asking us to be a part of helping you market and it was her own home. So she's selling her own home, which is a huge deal because to that realtor, I mean, every listing is important to them, but especially when it's your own, you want to do the best that you can. And the fact that they trusted us to help them be a part of their marketing team, don't take that lightly. Yeah, celebrate it with them. And especially my favorite is the new realtor and getting their first listing. I'm like, I'm so excited for you and thank you. Just always show gratitude. The thing that I do to try and build those relationships with new clients and longtime clients alike is we never take your business for granted. I just want to thank you for choosing us again. I know there's other companies out there that you could be working with. And I had another realtor up in our Michigan market that I happened to notice a few of her listings on Instagram we didn't shoot. Well, it was something that was outside of our market and it was a lower end property and they just chose to take their own photos. But she said, no, Craig, we're committed to you. It's just, these are a couple of one-offs, but yeah, let's have you in and talk with the entire brokerage again. So it's just staying on top of things and letting people know you care. So thank you. That's my heart in how I approach a lot of the relationships I have with our clients is just care about them as human beings. They're trying to put food on the table and take care of their families just like we are.
Exactly. And they're trying to figure out what the heck is going on with this market as well. This is just like it's your livelihood out there, all the listeners and our livelihood, it's their livelihood as well. Yeah. And these are some uncertain times with what the heck's going to happen.
Yeah. We got to be in it with them.
We do. You have to be all in, and a partnership is really what they will appreciate, being there for them, listening to them. I guess one thing is, how many of you listeners out there, how many of you write a handwritten note to some of your VIPs or some of your clients? That's a huge thing that just a simple box of thank yous.
Yeah.
We've got stacks. We had Wow Video Tours branded and cards printed on really heavy, nice cardstock cardstock, I guess it is.
Yeah.
And I send those out. Another thing is if send out 1 or 2 of those a day, and start your day with that. And the cool thing about that is number one, you're going to reach 2 clients and they're going to be like, wow, this person thought of me. But 2, that's a simple way to start your day to accomplish a task that you can get a win, just mentally. And I won't go too deep into this, but doing a task at the beginning of your day that you do and you succeed at is a fabulous way to start your day. Oh. And so that kills 2 birds with 1 stone there, is writing a simple handwritten thank you card. Heck, use ChatGPT and have them write your thank you note. I mean, it's out there. We'll do an episode on that of how we're using it. But if you want the AI to write your thank you card, type it in there and have the AI write your thank you card. So anyways, I digress. Let me go back.
Okay. Well, what else? Yeah. What else do we have?
Okay. So other ways that we are, finding success and selling to new clients. Okay. So you're asking me, okay, Todd, you got 52 new clients. Great. How did you do it? Well, 1, relationships. 2, we are launching and innovating new things. Okay. Zillow 3D is a simple one. Zillow 3D, it's coming out. Now, I'm not even going to go down the discussion of Zillow 3D and why are they doing it? Is Zillow just trying to put us all out of business? You know what? It's the next shiny object. And if you have the relationship with your client, they're not going to go to Zillow. Okay. If you don't have the relationship, Zillow's going to try to pluck them away from you.
Yeah.
Okay. But right now we looked at the data. The product is not bad. It's not a high-end product. It's easy to shoot. Processing's free for you. Okay. Free. You can't get any better than that. It gives a floor plan that agents want right now. It links the photos and then it does the 360 circular spots. So that's a great upgrade. Now I will say that you're going to get a little bit of a different response with every agent about Zillow. I just talked to one yesterday. She's like, yeah, I can't support Zillow. I just don't do it. I even tried, this is one I've worked with for 15 years. And I even tried to give some sell points at, listings with Zillow 3D. They're finding get 68% more views than listings without Zillow 3D. I'm going through these stats. Like, yeah, I can't do it. So that's the first one we launched. Second one we launched was floor plans. So that's coming up for us. If you're not doing floor plans right now, there's systems out there to do it. Cubicasa is a great one, and there's others. We're not sponsored by any of these. Although any of these people I mentioned, if you want to send me a check, I will put it in my bank account and send you a wow thank you note. So we're not sponsored by these people. So you can use whatever floor plan system you want. That's one thing that we just put in that is going to be launching here soon. That's needed. Automatic scheduling. If you're not doing automatic scheduling, you should. You just simply should. It's one thing that we at Wow just switched to a couple months ago because we finally got it written and it handles all of the 3 million cases that we have with restrictions and driving and all this and that. Our people love it. Our clients love automatic scheduling. If you don't have marketing assets, a marketing toolkit with flyers and social media, you need to have it. So that's another thing that our clients have been loving. Craig, what else? What else have we done that we're?
Well, we talked about the strong relationships, easier systems. You just mentioned that with automatic scheduling. I know we're getting a client in Toledo back, partly because of the automatic scheduling. That was something they had been looking for that we didn't have at the time. So that's good. Asking for referrals, something that easy to increase market share. And
yes,
now that I'm back in the Toledo market, this was my old market with my old business, but now doing it for Wow, I'm asking for referrals. Hey, I'm back. Can you mention it to so-and-so? And just, again, build those relationships through referrals.
Yeah. Okay. So how do I do that? It's as simple as this. So I think I mentioned a couple podcasts ago that I was going to sit with our largest client. It's an individual. It's a Coldwell banker, and they have about 600 agents, a very large Coldwell banker. We've been with them for over a decade. And these are extremely important people to us. Not that every client is not, but these are, another thing is take care of your VIPs. Make sure they're taken care of. So I sat with the owner, sat with then the two next, and the three high ups decision makers in the company, and we announced what was happening with all of our updates, and we announced some other things inside their company. And this is a company that we have a brokerage deal with. So I won't hit on that because we have many podcasts about brokerage deals, but this is like my ace in my pocket. And he was ecstatic about where we were at. And at the end of the meeting, we were getting ready to all leave and say our goodbyes, or before we said the goodbyes, I said, I need some help. I said his name, said, hey, I need some help. He's like, yeah, what can I do for you? I'm like, I need the broker in this city. And I gave the name and I gave the city. He's like, oh yeah, I sit on a board with him. He's like, I got him right here. I'll text him right here for you. So the amazing thing is not only is this the broker of that city, but this is a broker over 60 different offices that wow. I then a couple days later had a meet and greet via Zoom with the owner of both companies. And so it's just as simple as that, right. So that I got him over a proposal, the new owner, and it's going to take some time. Mm-hmm. Broker deals always take time, but these are things that just, how do you ask for referral? When people are happy with you, say, hey, could you help me out a little bit? Mm-hmm. Who do you know that might appreciate our services? Now that's a tough one. That sometimes you don't get an answer because they say, oh, let me think about it. The best way is to know who you want or a couple people that you want and ask for an introduction to those people. Mm-hmm. So, Craig, do you have any tips on how you ask for referrals?
Honestly, Todd, I try and keep it within a brokerage. I had a conversation with one of our clients about a month ago, and she said, yeah, when I first started using you guys, you were my secret weapon. And now I see a lot of people using you, and it's not, you're not my ace in the hole. I still love my relationship with you. I'm going to keep using you. But it was basically, she was saying my competition is using you now also. And I could tell that to try and ask her for a referral to somebody outside of her brokerage just wouldn't fly. Within a brokerage, they're still competing somewhat, but they're more likely to work with each other because they are within the same brokerage. So if there's another realtor that you're trying to get business from within their own brokerage, I would just very casually say, hey, I've noticed so-and-so, looks like they might be using their own cell phone photos or something that we could really help them improve their game as well. Would you be willing to make an introduction, whether it's an e-introduction or in person, and keep it that way? Because you position yourself as trying to help the brokerage. We want to help, such and such brokerage and help others within your sphere to build the company as a whole. So I would do it that way. I personally, it's kind of awkward to ask for a referral to a competitor, competing brokerage. That was a lot of words for a very simple concept. Sorry, Todd.
No, that is very good. You might just have to fill out the client and see what you think is possible by how well you know them. But I do think when you stay within a brokerage, it's all for the brokerage. So even though they compete, it's a little less because they're at the same company. Right. And you know what? If you do ask, what's the worst that can happen? You just say, yeah, I'm going to think about it. They just say no. Say, okay, just move on from there. But don't overthink it, but use that time spot.
Another idea related to referrals is maybe you institute a referral program where you give them a $50 credit for every referral that they give that orders with you. And that's something that we offer sometimes as well. In fact, somebody that was in a B&I group that I was in a couple of years ago, I had lunch with him, and he's excited and is going to start using us, and nobody else at their small brokerage does. He flipped over our brochure and saw the $50 referral. He goes, "Oh, $50. Yeah, I'll be talking." It was funny the way he reacted to that, but it caught his attention. And anything they can do to save money, a lot of times they're going to do that. So yeah, if they can help you build your business and they get some credit towards their appointments with you, it's a good motivator.
It is. Remember, you are selling salespeople. Realtors are salespeople. Right. So just keep that in mind. I mean, if you put an offer that's good enough out there, they're going to want to take advantage of it.
Yeah. I've actually told a couple realtors, look, I know you're a salesperson. Yes, this is a sales role for me. I can't sell you on this, but what I can do is find out what your goals are and then see what we have in-house that can help you reach those goals. And if it's a good fit, great, but I'm not going to try and pressure you. I can't, because you know this game. And I've gotten a couple of smirks, and people now, they nod, they get it. But if you're trying to help them grow their business and you're being honest about it, you have a good shot at building a partnership with them.
Yeah, Craig, that is so good. I just want to make sure that all listeners out there, it's probably worth rewinding. That is a line that if you're not using it, please use it. And another thing is please mean it when you say it. Yeah. Because if you don't mean it, this goes back to, I don't know how many podcasts ago we talked about the difference between serving versus selling. Right. To serve your client, you just don't want to sell them something once and then not see value in it. What's that going to do? I referenced an individual we shot for 15 years, this brokerage that we have this incredible relationship for 10 years, over a decade. I don't want to do one or two with them. I want to serve them. I want to create a partnership with them. So just tell them that, be sincere with them. And Craig, that's a fabulous way to get someone to go, oh, okay, cool. He's not trying to pull one over on me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you do that. And relationships are important to me. And that's part of what I missed when I wasn't doing this, was the relationships that I had built. I genuinely liked the people I worked with, and I wanted them to genuinely like me and have a long, fruitful business relationship, but also get to know them as people. I'm friends with a lot of the realtors that I work with. I'm friends with them on Facebook, on Instagram. We follow each other. They see my posts about my boys, and, they'll ask me about my boys. I ask them about their kids and the gymnastics meets. It's just, but you have to do it from, like Todd said, an authentic position, and not just try and, what's the word I'm looking for? Manipulate somebody. If they're going to smell that a mile away, and you're going to burn yourself and create a reputation for yourself that it honestly, I think will kill your business. So just be authentic, be human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed 100%, Craig. Really, really, really good insight. That's probably the best nugget of the whole thing right there, Craig. So thank you for that.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a challenging market, but it's one that we can still thrive in, Todd, and look to increase market share, even if listings are down, because then when the market does bounce back, and it will bounce back. And that's the other thing a lot of realtors have told me is, Craig, this is the worst we've seen it, but it will come back. They're not fearful. They're in it for the long game. Those that have made this a career, and they know things will come back. You just keep doing the work that you need to do, and it will pay off as market conditions change and improve. So
really good insight. Hey, thank you all for spending some time with us today. We hope you found something in here that was helpful. Again, email me. What's your market doing? If you have a question about your market, let me know. Or if you just have another question unrelated to whatever we talked about today, but you'd like to talk about it next week or the week after, you can get me at hello@spiro.media, and I look forward to your email. If you could help us out, one thing I'll ask, this is where I'll ask for referral. If you could like the podcast, if you know another person out there that might not be listening to it, if you could share it with them, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you like it or subscribe to it, you'll be notified of the latest podcast right when they come out. So thank you all for doing that. It's exciting to see the growth of this podcast. We really appreciate the support, and we love hearing from you. If you're sitting there, you're like, man, I got something to say, or I want to reach, call me. Literally, send me an email. Like, people, it's kind of funny because somebody like, oh, it's you. Like, yes, it's me. Like, I'm in this every day with you guys. You know, we're doing this every day. There's this weird thing about you hear someone on a podcast and it just seems so surreal to me. It's like people are like, oh, it's you. Like, yeah, you email me. I'm going to email you back. So
we're real
send
people.
me an email. Yeah. So.
You know, Todd, it gives me flashbacks. I worked in broadcast radio for almost 20 years, and I'm just me. Okay, I'm not a celebrity. Mm-hmm. I try to be a down to earth person, and you have people that would come up and that you're not what I pictured, but I've heard your voice, and they act like they know you because you've made yourself vulnerable and you've shared things about yourself, maybe in your family. And I've noticed the same thing on the podcast. Those that have gotten a hold of us, they're like, wow, I'm actually talking. It's like, no, it's just us. We're in the same industry. We're helping each other. We love to talk with people. So yeah, please reach out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Todd, thank you so much for that insight, increasing market share during some challenging times. Those of you that are maybe watching on YouTube, don't forget you can also listen to the audio-only version of the podcast. It's on all of the major podcasting platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all of those. And conversely, if you've just been listening, but you kind of want to watch the video version, check it out on YouTube. It's at Spiro Podcast is our handle on or handle. Boy, you can tell I'm a ham radio operator, right?
I'm just thinking handle that.
CB, yeah, whatever. But anyway, check it out. Check it out on YouTube as well. And just want to thank you for taking time to listen, to share. Todd mentioned sharing this. Facebook groups are a great way to share the podcast. We're in most of the major Facebook real estate media groups, but they pretty much all have the rule of no self-promotion. We want to respect that, so we really don't talk about Spiro ourselves, but maybe mention it. You can mention it. We can't, and we want to be good community members. So that's a great place to share the Spiro podcast. All right, so with that, just be thankful for the blessings you've been given. Take a breath. That's what Spiro means is breath. And just enjoy the things that you've been blessed with. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.